Hi everybody, welcome to my Suburban Oasis. I thought before I give you the update on the plants that I'm rehabbing that I got on sale, I would just give you a little sneak preview of the areas that I'm going to talk about next and give you an update on, and that is the backyard. So yeah, it's looking pretty good and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. If you like this channel, please click the like button and subscribe, and even hit the bell if you want to get notifications for new videos. Alright, so that's the sneak peek. Now we'll just scoot on out of here and go check out those sale plants and see how they're coming along. Here they are. So let's start with some of the smaller plants. They're looking pretty good. You probably can't tell a whole lot of a difference with these catmint, the nepeta, but I did cut them back and I gave them some water with a little fertilizer. They don't like a lot of that or they will become leggy, but just enough to give them a little refreshment during this hot summer time and to kind of revive their roots and get ready to flush out some new growth, because we still have a good probably month of new growth period that plants will continue to push out through September. So they're looking pretty good, I'd say, ready to plant in the garden. The next on my list is these coneflowers. Remember how bedraggled they looked? Well, I think we might even have another bloom already. I just cut out all the dead wood. I found a couple of snails in there. Had to pull those out because I think they've been overwatered actually. Some of the stems of the old coneflowers had rotted from the base, so I needed to just pull those out and then clip back a lot of the old and dead foliage. But looking good. Those are those Cleopatra coneflowers. So yeah, and those are going to be ready to put in the ground this weekend too. Alright, so there's a couple of plants that I want to show you that look a little scraggly still, but I would still say better, right? So here's the Yuki Cherry Blossom Deutzia, if that's how you say it. And I really had to cut this one back significantly, but you can see there's plenty of green on it. And on each one of these stems where I cut them back right in front of where new buds are going to grow. So that's a nice new growth point. And you can actually see on some of them where there's green that is ready to poke out. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to keep this one. I'm not going to plant it right away into the garden because I think that would stress it more. I'm just going to keep it in this sort of protected area where it gets a little less sun, and make sure that it gets plenty of water and a little bit more fertilizer just to help it flush out that new growth and green it up before I put it in the ground. So it's looking all right though. I think it's going to be just fine. So these are the type of plants that you have to go, all right, give me a few weeks and I'll be able to see that it was worth buying. The next plant I want to show you is the dwarf reblooming lilac, the bloomerang. You can see after growing back, it's got some buds on it. So those are the color of what the flowers are going to eventually look like. And this one I think I'm going to keep as well in the container a little bit longer, just so it can, again, get a little less stressed now that I have clipped it off and put it in a little more protected location. Sometimes you guys are just so stressed out from being in the nursery and getting lots of water and then no water and then lots of water and then no water, too much sun, that kind of thing. So we'll see how that one comes out. I don't expect too much new growth on it, but I do think it will push out some, and maybe even some additional blooms in addition to these ones that are budding right now. So pretty cool. And I'm going to show you what the hydrangeas look like here. After clipping them, I've got them all lined up for you so you can kind of see them all together and see the differences between them. Not too shabby, right? They're looking a whole lot better than they did yesterday. I will say this one in the middle, I had to clip the most growth off of in dead wood just to clean it up so that it will have the right form and structure. There was a lot of branches that were crisscrossing and rubbing against each other, and so it needed some good trimming, and a lot of the leaves did not perk up overnight, but I have no fear because as I clipped, it's definitely got green in it, and it will push out some new leaves. And you know, there were several tips that I had to clip off as well, right above the leaf node. So I don't think this one will bloom this year for me, but it will regain its health. And I think only a few more days in the pot, and then next week we're supposed to get a little cooler weather, so I will plant it then. Same with the rest of these. This one also on the end looks a little bit sparse as well. The stems are a little bare, the tips are good, just a lot of crispy leaves, but this one did have tips that were bent over yesterday, and many of them did revive overnight with the water and a little fertilizer and getting rid of all of the dead wood and dead leaves. So looking a whole lot better. Again, these are the Strawberry Sunday hydrangeas. For those of you who didn't see the video before this one, I bought them on clearance. They were half off. It's about $12.50 per plant, and they just take a little bit more work. So these two on the end actually turned out the best. They look really good. I mean, some people probably would pay full price for the look of these plants. So, but all of them are going to live. All of them, I think, should thrive. I did notice in one of them that there was a crack in the stem. I'm hoping that won't impair its growth. But all of these hydrangeas, like I said with the one, probably leave them in these pots for a few more days until we get to that weather that is a little bit cooler, so that when I put them in the ground, it's not quite as stressful or as big of a shock to their root system as it would be otherwise. So all in all, a great plant sale haul. You can see back here, I'm going to show you, I have a Cirsus canadensis. That was a volunteer from a neighbor. That's a redbud, and it was very small at the beginning of the season, but I potted it up and put it in some good soil, and you can see it's grown quite a bit, so I'm looking forward to finding a spot for that in my backyard. Alright everybody, thanks for joining me again, and I'll talk to you soon. Subscribe and like. Bye now.